Of any existing religion today other than Islam, such as Judaism, Christianity, and so forth, is a non-believer. He should be asked to repent. If he does not, he must be killed as an apostate because he is rejecting the Quran. So that mosque handing out the Muslim beliefs written by this sheikh says that I and you should be killed for rejecting Islam. Is that a religion of peace?
Why don't we do it?
You tell me.
No, you tell me. If this is true, why don't we do it?
I can give you some explanation.
Have you heard
of why
about anybody kill somebody just because he's not a Muslim?
I can give you my explanation. Why aren't they blowing us up right now? Well, there are several answers to that. One, it could be that they are ignorant of their own religion and its teachings, so they don't know that they're supposed to. Two, the sheikh hasn't given the fatwa or judicial declaration that they ought to do it, so they're telling them to wait. Two, they are hypocritical nominal Muslims, is the term that's being used lately, who don't really believe in the whole of the religion and don't think these parts should be implemented today. And in fact, I'll give you an example of that in a second. Or they're practicing taqiyya, deception, and they're waiting for the numbers to increase or the right idiot to go ahead and blow himself up. But they are killing people individually. In fact, we just had a murder by a Muslim who beheaded a lady at work, and instead of calling it what it was, because he was propagating Islam at his workplace, trying to get converts, and killed in the name of Islam, beheaded this lady, and it's workplace violence, folks. Has nothing to do with the religion. You see, this political correctness is what's going to be our demise. We need to call it what it is. We don't see Buddhists doing it, Christians, Hindus, atheists. People who claim to follow these religions have committed evils, but they can't justify them from the books. Islam is the only one that can justify its murders, its rapes, its molestations, its abuses of humanity by the book they say comes from their God. That is a huge difference. So why you don't kill me right now, sir, I don't know. But don't think I don't have my share of death threats.
So out of 1.3 billion Muslim, you are talking about very few people, and you think that these are the only people who understand Islam.
Sir,
and you gave several answers.
Most Muslims don't know their
one.
Islam from a hole in the ground, and I appreciate that. Most Muslims out here that say this is wrong, jihad is wrong, I like them, because that means they're not going to cut my head off.
2,000 years.
Jihad is not wrong.
Just saying, 2,000 years.
And they want to say it's a minority. It's not a minority, folks, because when you have mob mentality, I can show you a video of 12-year-old kid, other kids around him holding down a human being, and the little 12-year-old kid takes his sword and is cutting the guy's head off. I can show you a video where a nice little Muslim old lady grabs the guy by the hair and cuts his head off. And there's a crowd like this of men, women, and children, all Muslims, and they're laughing, they're applauding. So don't tell me it's the minority. It's the culture of Islam that is a culture of death. And why, if it's such a minority, doesn't the majority do something about it?
I can show you a video
Yes,
of
sir.
2 atomic bombs killed more than 200,000 of people.
I
But
think
this
a
has
lot
nothing to do with
see,
Christianity.
what you're talking about,
Yes, sir.
you know, we've seen in many videos, especially lately, it's been publicized. I'm sure it's been going on for just as much, if not more, throughout the past years. Just now, it's coming more into the you know, international media. But I think a lot of the Muslims that aren't necessarily in those areas like Syria, Iraq, you know, in the Middle East, they know what's going on. They hear about it, and they might as well believe in it. But they're also afraid to talk about it.
That's true.
And if you mention, you know, this and this is happening to them, or you know, this is happening, they know that they've been to their mosque and they've heard their what do you call their
imams or
they've heard the imams talk, and they know that that these people are probably doing the right thing. Those people that are cutting off the head, they're probably doing the right thing, but they'll never say that to your face. You know what I mean?
That's an excellent point. Let me show you something that is by the Muslim scholars concerning friendship with Muslims. This is Islamic doctrine right here, folks, and it's documented, and I'll show you right now. According to Muslim scholars, this is how it's supposed to be. And this is respected Muslim scholars by Abu Darda and Al-Hassan. We smile in the face of some people, although our hearts curse them. A deception, in reference to what Abu Darda just said, a deception allowed until the day of resurrection. That day hasn't come. Now, a Muslim, according to Islamic theology, is to consider a non-Muslim unclean. They're not to shake you with their right hand, they're to shake the non-Muslim's hand with the left, because that's what they wipe their butts with. Because you're dirty and they don't want to touch you with their clean hand. So how is it that they can give us any kind of respect if we're looked at as dirty, unclean, second-class citizens, the worst of creatures according to Islam? There's got to be either you don't really follow Islam or you're practicing taqiyya, which is you're being deceptive. I'll never know what is in his heart. So I can only go by what I've seen historically happen. The Christians in Mosul had neighbors for centuries that were Christians and Jews and Muslims coexisting. The moment the true Islam was brought to the land and Sharia was established, those neighbors that were having dinner with the Christians and the Jews took the sword against their neighbors. What changes? The power, the attitude, the coercion. So I don't know that when the power comes and the influence comes from back home, that he won't take up the sword against me. So I have to be careful, because a Muslim cannot be trusted for the mere fact that he is a Muslim.
Just to back up what you're
Yes,
saying,
sir.
I think on a macro level, a lot of people that know Muslim people, they might be saying to themselves, you know, I know this guy Muhammad, he's a nice guy, you know, he's sweet, we do business together. That's on a micro level, but on a macro level, when they get together in their mosque, when they get together with their friends, they hate you, they hate your family, and if you don't convert, you know, when they believe in the time that you're all going to be perished and you're all going to die. And I think, in spite of on the idea of fear, I think a lot of Muslims, I can't recall on national television a Muslim, like a real Muslim group, getting up there and condemning Al-Qaeda for 9/11. I don't remember, I don't recall. I'm sure it happened maybe once or twice, or maybe it didn't. But I don't recall a Muslim group's getting up there on TV, on stage, at events, and apologizing that in the name of Allah, in the name of their God, 3,000 people were killed on American soil. So if I were to rewrite the dictionary and put the word real Muslim in the dictionary, I would put the word, or ISIS, I would put the word animals right next to it.
Oh, well, that
that's
too.
where they belong.
Yeah.
Animals, that would be a compliment, actually.
Yeah. Here's the Quran, folks. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Islam is the only religion on earth that kills the people who leave it. Just think about that. The only religion that has a death penalty if you become an apostate is the religion of Islam. I was born a Muslim, and I have a death sentence on my life by my religion. Is that the religion of peace? Now you have all these army beheading people in the Middle East and killing Christians. Where are the moderate Muslim armies? Hello? There is zero moderate Muslim army. When ISIS goes in anywhere, they leave their arms and run away. There is no moderate Muslim army. All the armies in the Middle East are Islamic, and they all are doing jihad. And that is the truth.
Yep. Let me find something here. This is a Muslim scholar who said this right here. I think I did remove it. Let's see. Hey, that's no point. Yes, sir.
I was just curious, are you Muslim?
Yes, of course.
What if a Muslim leaves the Muslim faith, what do you think should be done to that person?
Okay, there are two different opinions about that.
Can you go to the mic, please?
What is your opinion?
Okay.
Here you
There
go.
are, to be honest, there are two different opinions about that. One, they said, yeah. One, they said, if, okay, let me finish, please. One of the opinions, yes, it says that whoever become a Muslim and then he revert back, he should get the death penalty. But this is in a certain condition when there is an active war between the Muslim and non-Muslim. And what I believe, and many of people believe, that this never happened during the Prophet. There is no verse in Quran.
Okay.
There is no verse.
Your Muhammad beheaded people, and that's why I left your religion.
This never happened. By the way, this
You're
should be.
Saudi, and in Saudi Arabia they behead people. They behead people in your country.
All of them are with him.
And you come here and you act
Where are
so
you from?
civilized.
Where are you
but
from?
you know, in your country, they behead people.
Just wait one second.
Okay,
Okay, go ahead.
One of the Muslim scholar has been asked this question, and he proved that Muhammad never said to kill people who revert from Islam. And he gave a story about that one guy.
Listen, I'm telling you this from the American. No, you're not. You're trying to support it. Okay. All right.
One guy went to Muhammad while he was in the mosque, and he told him that I revert from Islam, and he repeated 3 times, and the Prophet did not answer him at all until this guy left. After this guy left, and this was in Medina, Al-Madinah,
Sir, that's actually not correct.
and then the Prophet said, Al-Madinah, they just reject people.
So what?
They don't want to listen. This is a hateful speech against Muslims. Because
into the mic,
every
please.
time I try to explain.
Into the mic, please.
Sorry.
Into the mic. It'll pick up.
Okay, one second.
So I don't believe that somebody who reverted from Islam should be killed. Okay, he muted the mic again.
Okay, this guy's not going to shut up, so I apologize for that, folks.
She's telling me I have no pride in my country. I'm a hippie.
Okay, so just wait. I'm actually.
Stop. Sorry, I'm allowed to be here too.
Not necessarily interrupting.
am.
No, you're not. I can call the cops on you.
And I already talked to them about you, and they're not really into this too much, okay? We all have equal rights to be here
Yes,
and talk.
yes, yeah.
All right? 2 mics against you.
Can you allow me to finish? Just
Shut up.
I'll take 1 minute.
Just shut up already.
Sorry, guys.
Go ahead, sir.
There is very explicit verse in Quran says no enforcement in religion at all. And based on this verse, even the other opinion that said somebody has to, if somebody revert from Islam has to be killed, this is not true anymore, based on this verse. And the Prophet never did it at all, and his companion never did this at all. This is why we have a lot of Christian and Jews lived in the Arabic Peninsula for a very long time.
He has a good point.
Okay, so Lewis, can you turn this on for a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I asked you about apostasy laws in terms of killing a Muslim if he leaves Islam, and you said that you admitted that there isn't one teaching where if a person leaves Islam, he should be killed, but you are also saying there's other parts of Islamic theology that are saying that that's not true.
Yes.
Right? And I don't think the latter is true, but I'll let Lewis discuss that. What I want to ask you is, when a Muslim is punished or killed for apostasy, as does happen in the Islamic world, right? Don't you think it's your obligation, if you think this is wrong, to stand up and be heard and to say that that's not legitimate and that these teachings are wrong and they should be repudiated? We're asking you Muslims, if you do believe that apostasy laws are not right and not founded in the Quran, why don't you stand up and defend Muslims who leave Islam and defend their right to live?
Okay, how many times you heard about somebody has been killed for reverting from Islam? Throughout the very, very rare, and in very, very few countries. And it's not like that. You revert, you will be punished. This never happens. But the reason that a point on time of Islam, at the early age of Islam, that maybe the Prophet meant about what he said, that one of his saying that whoever reverts from Islam should be killed, because some people used to pretend that they are a Muslim, and then after a few days they said no, Islam is not good anymore, we are reverting back. So they are just trying to deform the shape of Islam, and this is why some people think that he might say this for a certain period of time, but currently this very rarely happens.
Okay.
And we are against it. A lot of scholars preach against this.
Okay, so first of all, technically you're wrong, because there's many instances of this throughout history of people being killed, and that's why they live in terror of it, but we can debate that. But you didn't answer my question. Let us even suppose that it's even one person, like what just happened with Miriam in Sudan, and how her life was spared, thank God. Where were you as Muslims standing up for that poor woman that was about to be executed because she was accused of leaving Islam and was about to be killed? What I'm saying is, if you're angry at this gentleman, if you're saying that we have Islam wrong, where are you standing up and denouncing what ISIS is doing, what Boko Haram is doing? Where are you? So I'm just inviting you, if this is a misunderstanding of Islam, then stand up for the people who are misunderstanding Islam.
Yeah, a lot of scholars, they stand up and try to change this. But again, this is very rare cases, and this is one of the cases that you have mentioned. And most of these cases, it has been exaggerated by the media for political reasons. There are millions of Muslims who are being killed on a daily basis, and the media in the West, they never talk about it. But when somebody make an adultery, for example, and there is a punishment, oh, the whole world would move and start to talk about this
Can I
for
interject
political
there?
reasons.
Okay, thank you.
Here, let me just interject as a rebuttal. He acknowledged that it's the penalty for apostasy is death, but he puts it in a different context. Here's the problem with that. What you see here, folks, is the photocopy of the Reliance of the Traveler. Any Muslim who studies his Islam knows what the Reliance of the Traveler is. It is a documentation, and I have it here. Okay, I've read the whole thing. Page 595 of the Reliance of the Traveler, that is still sold in this version in every Islamic bookstore in America and in Europe, says this. Under the section 008.0, apostasy from Islam, Rida. Leaving Islam is the ugliest form of unbelief, kufr, and the worst. It may come about through sarcasm, as when someone is told, trim your nails, it is sunnah, and he replies, I would not do it even if it were. So even ignoring or using sarcasm in Islam is considered apostasy or disbelief. Then it says in section 1, when a person who has reached puberty and is sane voluntarily apostatizes from Islam, he deserves to be killed. It is still in their manuals of Islamic fiqh or jurisprudence that the Muslim leaders are to use as a guidance for the Islamic community. This is accepted by the 4 major schools of Islamic jurisprudence. There is no disagreement today about this. So when this gentleman puts it in another context, with all due respect, I don't think he has studied it enough. So it's still in their books, and it says deserves to be killed, meaning if a Muslim leader, the emir or the leader, declares a fatwa on that person that apostatized, any Muslim under the jurisdiction of that emir is to carry out the execution. That is Islam today.
So also what I was interested in, that you said that it was only also during a time of war.
Yeah.
Now, to my understanding of what I've read, that Islam is always at war. There's the war between Islam and the non-Islamic world. Would you say that today the Islamic world is not at war with the non-Islamic world?
Of course,
It's not. You're saying
it
that
never
no, let him finish.
be a war against non-Muslim just because they are non-Muslim. All the invasion of Islam just to allow the Muslim army to publish the message to other people. If you allow, this is why Do you know what is that?
Wait, you use an army to spread a message, but using an army is not war?
No. Let me explain, please. What is the largest Muslim country? As per today, the largest one, Indonesia. There is no invasion went to Indonesia at all. The invasion happened and the war happens when the Muslim try to spread out the message of Islam in a certain country peacefully, and then the army of this country, they prevent them from publishing the message of Islam. Then the war starts, and then it stops immediately after they are being allowed to publish the message.
Well,
So-
according to the jurisprudence
and,
again,
and after the opening, it's up to people to become a Muslim or a non-Muslim. Like in Egypt, we have a lot of Christians.
So what is the jizya?